Lisa Bennett here, Workforce Millionaire, and you are at the Loving Nonprofit Awareness Day, where I am excited to interview Foster Anderson. Shared Adventures was founded by Foster Anderson in 1994. He is a survivor of a spinal cord injury with quadriplegia. Shared Adventures has provided hundreds of life-enriching recreational and social activities for people with special needs. And my kids and I participated in one of the beach days a few years ago that was just really fun. A lot of cool stuff going on that day. So their goal is to offer opportunities for social and recreational interaction for disabled people and thereby encourage personal growth, development, and self-confidence, cooperation, decision-making, and leadership skills, outdoor skills and environmental awareness, improved quality of life, and level of happiness. Shared Adventures are the only program in Santa Cruz County that offers a year-round calendar of recreational events that is completely inclusive. They cater to people of all walks of life, including age, disability, and the veterans. So thank you, Foster, for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, in a nutshell, that's everything that we do. So it's really exciting to be a part of it all these years, and
yeah,
love
you started
what I
it.
do.
You started it. What year did you start Shared Adventures? 1994.
Well, informally 1992.
Oh,
because that's when Terry Sims, who is a pro surfer, and came to Cabrillo College and asked a whole bunch of us at the adaptive PE class if we wanted to go surfing.
oh.
So the summer of 92, and of course, me and 3 other people are raising our hand and saying, sure, so what's the next step? And it's like, well, we're gonna go out to 38th Avenue and suit you up in a wetsuit and then take you down the stairwell, wasn't accessible, and then take you out on board. So that was in 1992, but I just finished my engineering job at working over the hill and looking for something new to do in my life, and that was my opportunity. So yeah, 1992.
So he put you on a board. Did he accompany you on the board?
Right, exactly. He was on the back and they put you prone or
Okay.
on your stomach,
Uh-huh.
and then I put my hands underneath my
Okay.
chin, so your chin doesn't get
up. Yeah.
slaughtered. Yeah, and you're pretty much on the toe of the board.
Right.
So when you pass these big waves,
Breathe out.
they're white waters, you gotta duck
Right.
and come up, and we're literally, it's on a long board. There's short boards and long boards, and it's on a long board. So
Okay.
yeah, we're pretty much vertical in the air, and then hit the bottom, and then of course you got to turn around, and then you feel the wave picking up, and just the energy of going forward and faster, and then you're hovering up a couple feet above the water and the wave. And you really don't know until photographers you like the elements and where you are. So it's really it was a blast.
Yeah.
So,
and you felt like maybe you could make this available for somebody else someday.
well, I was thinking that day, well, this was amazing.
Yeah.
And when I thought, and I didn't think, one day I went down to Cowles Beach and there was a beach chair sitting there. I'm like, wow, look at this. This is a great item to go across the sand. So I thought, well, why don't we get a bunch of people to go surfing and maybe kayaking. And my friend Ed Martinez was a part of kayaking, taking me out kayaking once. And I used to throw these big gatherings back on the East Coast called the Stork Fest.
Hmm.
And they were getting me to celebrate the anniversary of my motorcycle accident when I was 17. And I'd fly back for them. I thought, well, why not start them out here? So I never thought about like even becoming a nonprofit until I remembered we did start Shared Adventure on the East Coast back in 1985 with a 60 program. And that was with Kent Winchester. He had a adaptive ropes course.
Huh.
And he asked me if I wanted to go skiing, sort of like Terry. And I'm like, skiing? So he told me all about Colorado Outdoor Educational Center for the Handicap, and they have these sit skis, and we can get a hold of them, and they can come out and show us around and use them. So that's what we did in 1985, and that was a great blast to connect in with people that way. And we brought my dad's trailer down at the base of the hill, and we created Shared Adventures back then.
Hi. And do you have an estimate for how many people have participated in Shared Adventures since you started it?
Boy, I used to tell my mom we're expanding exponentially.
Huh.
So, yeah, each year it expands, I believe, and each year, I see more and more people jump on the bandwagon and people I haven't seen before. So I see it that way in terms of more people getting involved and going onto our website and submitting their information so they can get our newsletter. So that, and we actually tally how many people we accommodate at each activity each time.
Okay.
And that the beach is huge, so
yeah,
that number is up in the hundreds just for that one day.
Yeah,
And
I'm
plus
surprised
with,
you can tally that because there's no exact entry place for the event covers, a really long distance on the shore. So how do you, I don't know how you even tally people. Well, they do sign up, right? There's a registration.
Correct. Sort of like what we're doing here. You register online and then pick your event and what time you want to go out, and then you get the volunteers. I just saw my friend Sean just kind of keyed into our conversation here.
Yep.
So, and volunteer.
Okay.
And he's been doing it for 15 years or so.
Nice.
We get almost more volunteers helping out because there's so much infrastructure of putting down pallets and plywood and tents.
Yes, it was a big organized event. Yes. And getting all the things there that people were, all the boats and the long boats and the four-wheel vehicles and all that stuff there had to take an army of people to get all that. Yeah. And laying down all that plywood on the beach. It was a lot.
Exactly. So it's kind of like a Burning Man.
Yeah.
On the beach. Yeah. They started Burning Man on the beach and then moved it to the deck. Oh yeah.
Huh.
So, but yeah, everybody loves Day on the Beach. We used to get people calling or writing letters saying Day on the Beach or Christmas, their birthdays and Day on the Beach were their favorite times of the year.
Nice.
Nice quote. Yeah. And you said your kids came down.
My kids and how old were, I think they were maybe in junior high at the time. I don't remember if I had this house yet. I don't remember exactly which year it was, Foster, but I asked my kids to come with me to Day on the Beach, and we all made sandwiches in the little hut where they were feeding lunch to people. My kids and I were making lunches with a bunch of other people and just distributing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Sai Baba group. that were there that day. And we're eating sandwiches and samosas and mimosas. No mimosas. Samosas. And there's my board chair, Steve Miller.
Hi, Steve Miller.
Jumping into the conversation, and he goes way back on our day on the beach and jumping into didn't knowing what to do. You want to tell him or tell Lisa how you kind of stumbled upon day on the beach and your son was, since you're here now?
I'm not quite sure who this is going to. Who are we addressing here?
It's being recorded, and anyone who registered for it today will get it in recording an email that I will send to everybody, and everybody on my email list, which is about 2,000 people, and I will make the recordings available for people to watch. So I'm just asking what got this nonprofit started. And so Foster was telling us about how he got started. And then we got onto the subject of Day on the Beach, because that's what I've participated in before. And he said, you go back really far for Day on the Beach.
Yeah.
Well, okay, good segue. Yes, that's how I got
history of
involved. I coached my kids in sports when they were young, and was at the beach 1997 at Cowell's Beach with my kids. And there was music and tents and kayaks. And someone said, let's go check that out. And it was an early day on the beach. And looked really fun and exciting. And we said, oh, next year, let's us help out. So next year, we saw a little blurb in the paper, volunteers needed for Day on the Beach.
Yeah.
I said, okay, this is our opportunity. So we got down there early. Those are the days when everybody who had a screw gun showed up and put the platform together. And the crowd was up in the Cowell's parking lot, mainly people in wheelchairs pushing against the barriers, like, let us in, let us in.
Oh, wow.
So noon was the opening. So we had it all laid out, and at noon we cut the barrier, or unwrapped it, whatever. People come streaming down the boardwalk to the beach, and
nice.
Kind of get in line for kayaking was the first thing.
Nice.
And remember my sons and I did transfers, people out of their wheelchairs into kayaks, and we'd be on the beach and we'd launch the kayaks, and people would go out and have their adventure, and they'd come in. And if you've ever caught a wave in a kayak, you get a real rush coming in.
Huh.
And people, especially who are used to sitting in a wheelchair, would have this grin like, whoa, what a rush. Wow. And I thought, man, if I can do that for people, that's something good to do.
Yeah.
So got involved with Shared Adventures, and we've been doing it ever since.
Nice.
And then just one other little piece of the story that is ongoing. In those days, the board spent a lot of time doing what I call nickel and dime fundraisers, asking merchants for items, and we'd have auctions and door prizes and things like that. And I said, well, I'm not really interested in spending my time doing that. I think there's foundations that support this kind of work. I said, I think I can write a grant that maybe somebody will pick up. So wrote a grant, and the Packard Foundation picked it up.
Nice.
And funded us. It was $15,000, which was a good part of the budget for the year. And that meant the board could work on program development and planning activities. And that gave us a lot of credibility when we'd knock on doors in the future. And that really took Shared Adventures up a notch into the nonprofit world.
It's actually called a seed grant.
Yeah.
15,000 the first year, 10 the next, and 5 the third. So you're supposed to kind of get your nonprofit, grounded enough to be able to, by the third year, you can like launch out on your own.
Wow.
And that was back 97, 98, 99. And that's where, right after a day on the beach, we were doing a picture slideshow at the Loud Nelson Center. And Zufi, the girl with the curl, I don't know if you remember her on K-Pig, but she was mentioning Newman's Own Organics and
Okay.
or Nell Newman. So that was like, nobody knew who that was, but since she knew her personally and had a great, I won't go into how they met, but ended up, meeting her on my birthday, my 40th birthday. And she came with a birthday card, and, I opened it up and it said, Shared Adventures will be receiving between $20,000 and $25,000 next year. So this was going from 1999 into 2000. And I'm like, wow, what a great meetup. I thought.
Now, this was from the Newman, this is from the Newman Foundation?
Correct. Yeah, she has
Wow.
her own products called Newman's Own Organics. And she went to UCSC.
Huh.
So she was one of the beginning people too to get organic products off the ground, if you think about it. Way back then, you didn't really hear about organics, but she had cookies and pretzels and dog food eventually, and came up with different ones.
So she was a patron, really the next big step getting Shared Adventures off the ground.
Yeah.
But for, I don't know, about 10, 15 years, provided that support.
Huh.
Right. And before that, I wanted to bring up, we started, I was telling you about 92 and then 94, we became nonprofit. But, to start a nonprofit, you really need to have a board of directors, which I learned from Al Carnan and all these other wheelchair users and people that I kind of met periodically to try to be on our board. So you really can't do this alone, but you need an executive director, and then a treasurer and a secretary. So we had a board chair, Ed, and he actually moved away, and then Cecily Cahill, she was with me, and we went to a workshop.
I know Cecily. I know Cecily from Toastmasters.
Right.
Yeah.
Who was still on the board 25 years later.
Wow.
Right. And then, but Steve was down at Day on the Beach. I said, you want to get more involved? You want to be, our new board executive director? And Steve knows all about that. He's 10 years older than me, has held all these great positions. So he was my brainchild to really getting Shared Adventures off the ground with his knowledge on. And there's Sean with my new logo on. And to get financially stable, because you really need money to keep this going. But we were from 92 until 2000, we were just on a shoestring budget, the typewriter, even the computer wasn't even out then. So, or web pages or anything like that. Still the old mechanical way.
So let's talk about our accomplishments. The other side of being small and not having a lot of bureaucracy is what you call nimble. When there's opportunities come up, we can jump on them. And we've done a number of things, both local activities and joining or partnering with other organizations. We've gotten some grants that have started. What was the program I was just thinking of? Anyway, we've gotten grants from the California Arts Council for an art program. Oh, I know, the Santa Cruz Access Guide, which was a grant from, what foundation was that, Foster?
Well, the community foundation.
Well, they augmented it. Oh, what was his name? Superman.
Oh.
Oh, was that? Oh, but we didn't get
Reeves,
that.
Christopher Reeves Foundation.
Oh, that's right. Oh, right, right, right.
They
That's right.
did the original funding for the Access Guide.
Oh, you're right.
Oh.
Now I forgot all about that.
Nice.
Yeah, they,
And then it wasn't quite enough money to do the printed version we wanted, and we went to the Community Foundation to augment it. And they said, well, we will, on the condition that it's bilingual. So he came up with a creative way of doing it, English, Spanish. And it's a beautiful, it was printed in 2004. It was printed and a website. So there's a finite number of copies, and we never did another print, but it's been a website that's been useful locally and nationally and internationally. We can see the hits coming, people traveling and getting information. And actually, we're in process of updating the website to a new version, new information, and new accessibility. And this will be out right after the first of the year.
Oh, and what's the name of that website? That's not the Shared Adventures website. It's a different website, right? You're talking about, Steve?
Well, right. The Shared Adventures website links to the Santa Cruz Access Guide.
Oh, okay.
Which is scaccessguide.org or com.
Okay. Yeah, scaccessguide.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a great product.
Yeah.
Another thing we've been interested in, this was a vision of Foster's, that the Santa Cruz community is a great environment, just in general, and is very accommodating. And Shared Adventures has an ongoing program of activities. And we want to put Santa Cruz on the map as a destination for disabled travelers.
Oh.
And the Access Guide is a step in that direction. And we've started working with the Visit Santa Cruz County, the Visitor and Convention Bureau. And now actually Foster's on the board of directors of the Visit Santa Cruz. And we're working closely with them to make their website disability friendly. So that's going to open the door for travelers to Santa Cruz.
Yeah, and I've been working with the Santa Cruz Chamber of Commerce too for many years, and they would have mixers, and so I'd meet all the business people in the county. So that's where they would, throw in $1,000 here, $500 there for stay on the beach, and the community foundation was also instrumental finally on putting together the first brochure for us. I was black and white and had the picture of me and Terry Sims on the front of the board, and another guy, Randy Cartel, who was an Ironman guy, and he's shown in the indoor rock climbing wall at Pacific Edge.
Yes, I keep getting invited to that. I get all the invitations to come to Pacific because I was a rock climber to come to help the people get up the wall. And I haven't done that yet. I'm not certified there yet, but I would like to do that.
Are you on the Shared Adventures mailing list?
I am, yeah.
Oh, good. So we're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, all you have to do is 5 minutes time. They'll teach you how to belay.
Yeah.
So you can see the activities. It's amazing. We actually have a very, very good program activities coordinator now, Becky Gamal. And we've got horse riding and swim parties and whale watching and fishing, just all kinds of activities. She's great at making connections in the community and getting people out doing activities they never imagined themselves doing.
A lot of Zoom too.
Oh yeah, there was the Zoom years, the last couple of years, as you and everybody knows, we have not been having social activities or outdoors physical social activity.
Yeah, so what did you do?
So we moved everything onto, believe it or not, moved everything onto Zoom and had a very productive participation the last couple of years with arts and craft classes and book club and yoga classes
Huh.
and magic shows. And we actually had as much or greater participation the past 2 years on Zoom than we did with our actual activities.
Wow.
I think it really came, we're lucky because we got split in terms of working all together. Like everyone came here at my house and working Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, from 1 to 5:30. But they kicked us out of here, so everyone was working remotely. So that was a good way for like Zoom to come in, and then since we all work remotely, to be able to tie in that way with other populations.
So one of the amazing things is we have really pared down our operating costs, our overhead, to very little. We all work remotely. We're basically our activities are run with volunteers. We have a half-time program manager, a 25% times administrative assistant, and Foster, who's a volunteer, and the board is volunteers. And for our big events like yourself, Day on the Beach, we have up to 200 volunteers. So people look at our schedule of events and go, wow, what an organization you must have.
Yeah.
Right.
But, we don't have an office, we're not paying rent in an office, we're not paying salaries. It's amazing we get done what we do.
I am amazed with these leaders I'm interviewing today, how many of them have very small staffs and what an enormous reach they have. So yeah, these are wonderful organizations. Thank you for everything you're doing. Is Sean a member of the board as well, or is he just an interested onlooker?
Sean, you want to contribute something? You've been a big supporter.
I'm a volunteer. I wanted to volunteer with an organization anonymously, do something where I wasn't gonna profit in any way, I've been going pretty much ever since. One thing about shared adventures during COVID, when a lot of organizations are merging or closing, or merging and then closing, shared adventures has got, I think it's gotten more recognition and awards, and more often than they usually do.
Huh. With all the
Quite an
online
accomplishment.
stuff, with everything that went online.
Yeah, like they were describing, they made a big push. It's quite varied, and it's all over the calendar.
Huh. Well, awesome. Way to go. That's called pivot.
Yeah, I know.
They're calling that how to pivot. Businesses are learning how to do it, and it looks like nonprofits are learning how to do it too. Awesome. It's a way to go, you guys.
Got to.
Volunteering is a lot of fun. I don't know why more people don't do it. It's a great way to spend your time. You get paid, not in money, but
yeah, it's emotional
really
reward. Yeah, I get it.
And the really
Yeah, Lisa, as you know, participating at Day on the Beach, we've got a lot of people who say, this is my greatest day of the year. I love, not participants, they say it's the greatest day of the year too, but volunteers. And so many volunteers say, next year I'm bringing my kids, or I'm bringing my brother-in-law. It's like, this is such a great thing to do. Makes us feel good.
Yeah, I've had people come up to me and say, I probably get more out of this than the participants do.
Now, there's a lot of positive energy at the Day on the Beach. I'd love to get my brother there. My brother had a motorcycle accident when he was 18, and he lost his left leg. And he's gone through a lot since then, depression and the spinal curvature that happens when you use crutches for years and years. And I'd love to see him get out there and get active on Day on the Beach. That'd be fun.
Well, that's great. And we'd love to do that. But just all the activities in general, kayaking, bird watching, you name it. There's a lot of people. There's people, I can't tell you the number of people that come to Day on the Beach with different disabilities go, I can't do that. I just want to watch. And they come and they see people in worse conditions than themselves and go, okay, next year I'm going out. I'm going to try kayaking next year.
Nice.
So we've got a date. What is it? July 13th. Isn't that it, Foster?
July 9th, we're gonna have our,
July 9th.
actually, it'll be, well, technically it'll be our 29th one. But we are
Wow.
going on to our, you think about our 30th year.
Wow.
Since I started, in 1992 with Terry Sims. So these are our 30th year, not being a nonprofit. That'll happen two years later. But it's kind of a cool accomplishment, 30 years, like half my life.
Yeah.
I've been, and a lot of people are retiring after 30 years on one business or one job, or if they have a job that long. So I'm not going to retire anytime soon.
Got it.
Yeah.
So a lot on the books for Shared Adventure for 2022. You'll be doing online stuff. And as my mom used to say, God willing and the tides don't rise, we'll be getting back in person as well. Right.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. I hope to see you and your brother.
Thank you, Steve. Nice man. Thank you, Sean, for coming too. And Foster, it's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah.